Language learning is rarely a hobby. English language learners usually have an end goal in sight. Whether the goal is travel or work related, learning English is usually a means to an end. This means that English language learners want to become fluent in English quickly. Hi everyone, I'm teacher Andre from chrisamericas.com, where we help you level up to show the world the best version of yourself. Learning to speak English fluently will take a lot of hard work, motivation, and dedication. It will require countless hours of practice, watching English movies, and reading English books. You will get closer to speaking English fluently each and every day if you're willing to put in the work. Why is it important to speak English fluently? You may not need to have very good speaking skills to communicate in English. However, it is important to speak English fluently because it will be easier for other English speakers to understand you. Communication is a two-way street, and the listener needs to interpret what you say. If the listener does not want to actively decipher broken English, then a language barrier will be created and it will become more difficult to communicate. This is one of the reasons why it is important for you to speak English fluently. It will break down communication barriers. English fluency will also help you communicate your thoughts and opinions precisely and clearly. Every English language learner can express themselves better in their mother tongue language. Speaking English fluently simply means that you'll be able to express yourself in the same way, but in English. The biggest mistake you can make when wanting to become fluent in English is not making any mistakes at all. It's okay if your communication is not perfect. There's no way that it's going to be perfect without making a few mistakes at first. Mistakes mean that you are using the language. The second mistake people make is they want to become fluent by only speaking to themselves. English language learners may spend too much time learning English on their own. The problem that arises is that they know all the rules and all the grammar points, but they cannot use them when it comes to communication. Another issue that comes up from only learning a language alone is that pronunciation errors and grammar mistakes become habits. Habits are challenging to break, and they come in your way when it gets to communication. The easiest way to speak English fluently is to practice speaking every day. The key is to finding an environment where you can express yourself while talking about topics that interest you. You don't need to spend hours and hours and hours studying English. Simply find a native English speaker and practice with them. Your English speaking partner should know English grammar rules. This will enable them to explain them to you while they're speaking with you. Practicing with an English-speaking partner is also a great way to boost your confidence. You can master the English language, build your confidence, and learn English grammar all at the same time. You need to push yourself to succeed, but this does not mean that you need to set the bar too high. Every English activity you do, every movie you watch, every book you read must be suitable to your level. If you're starting to feel discouraged because of your constant failure, lower your level and try again. Learning to speak English fluently should feel difficult, but not impossible. English Every Day is an English course with live lessons for English learners who want to improve their English with native speakers, professional teachers, and students from all around the world. You have live lessons where you can join every day. There is a calendar of scheduled lessons, so you can see when the lessons are and what time you can join. In the English Everyday program, you have support, and you also have the student chat where you can speak with students from all around the world. You can look at our feedback page so that you can know from which countries our students are. Before you join our program, we strongly recommend that you sign up for our free seminar with Chris Americas, where you can learn what goals you need to have to get better results, how to become fluent in English very quickly, what you need to do to have perfect pronunciation, the 3 biggest mistakes you need to avoid, which free resources will help you learn English, and the best resources to improve your speaking. The best tips to speak English fluently. There is no reward without effort. But there is a correct way to put in the effort. Every English language learner is different. What works for you won't necessarily work for another. So let's take a look how we can learn this language smarter but not harder. Speak, speak, speak. The first step is to speak English as often as possible. There is no substitute for improving your spoken English. You need to speak English and speak it a lot. You can speak English every day by finding an English-speaking partner. An English-speaking partner can guide you to speak fluently and correct you when you make mistakes. The mistakes you make will help you learn, and the constant practice will improve your English fluency. Talk to yourself. Don't be afraid to have conversations with yourself out loud. It's important to construct your own sentences. You can start by thinking of a new piece of vocabulary or a phrasal verb you've learned and start from there. Talk to yourself as you move through your daily activities and see what you can explain and how you can express yourself in English. Make mistakes. I've said this many times. If you don't make mistakes, you are not learning. Fluency comes when you can stop thinking about every word and every sentence you create. The only way to improve speaking fluently in English is to practice making sentences without thinking too much about them. Of course, you're going to make mistakes, but your English speaking partner can correct you, and these corrections will stick in your mind. The only way to get the theory out of your head and into practice is to start by doing it. So start making your mistakes today. Don't overdo grammar. Yes, grammar is important. Yes, speaking English fluency requires you to know how to use grammar correctly. However, you need to separate learning grammar and practice speaking English. There is a time and place for learning English grammar. If you only learn all of the English grammar, you're never going to know how to use it when speaking in English. Remember, native speakers in any language don't need to know all of their grammar rules. And they definitely don't learn them first. They just know them. A child first learns how to communicate before they produce grammatically correct sentences. You need to trust your brain. It might take a little longer, but your brain will eventually put the pieces together. Once communication becomes easier, so will the grammar. Expose yourself to English. For our brains to learn a language, they need to be exposed to it as much as possible. This means immersing yourself in the world of written and spoken English. You should watch English movies and listen to English podcasts to hear how English is used in real life. You will quickly learn that grammar rules are made to be broken. Words are linked together and usually sound like one long word, and that English has a natural rhythm. Your brain will also be working very hard to understand everything. Don't put too much pressure on yourself at first. Just listen. Reading English books or articles will also give you a visual representation of English and help you learn new words. It's a lot easier to learn new words in a written form. It's also important to remember that English is not a phonetic language. So, learning the written form will also help you when the time comes to write in English. Improve pronunciation. Take note of the way English speakers speak when you're watching movies or listening to those English podcasts. Note when they make reductions and when they don't. Listen for linking in English and try to repeat it. Pronunciation is a lot more than simply learning how to say each and every word. You can improve your English speaking at home by listening, repeating, and speaking in front of a mirror. You must focus on your mouth and tongue position when saying a word or a sentence. All of this will help you produce the correct sound. Learn the rhythm of English. When you learn how to link and reduce words in English, it enables you to speak English with its specific rhythm. This will make it easier for English speakers to understand you, and it will help you keep their attention. Unfortunately, English language learners can lose the attention of their listener when they overemphasize every word or separate each word to pronounce it individually. This is not how English is spoken. Understanding the rhythm of spoken English also guarantees that you will be able to understand other people a lot easier. You mustn't try to understand every single word in a sentence. English reductions often make it difficult to hear what the word is in the first place. It's a better idea to focus on the stress words because they are the content words that hold the meaning of the entire sentence. A fun way to become fluent is to sing karaoke. Karaoke is fun, entertaining, and it can help improve your pronunciation skills. Karaoke doesn't help you to become fluent in English, but it's a super fun way to practice and improve your pronunciation. Singing karaoke also helps to get words and phrases stuck in your head. But remember, Justin Bieber's My Mama Don't Like You and Bill Withers' Ain't No Sunshine are not reliable sources to learn English grammar. They will, however, teach you how English native speakers bend and break the grammar rules. Ask yourself why while listening to English podcasts or reading your book. Ask yourself why the speaker or author used the words, phrases, or grammar that they chose. It's important to study the English language. Don't be afraid to pull it apart and piece it back together. Ask yourself, is there another way to say the sentence and whether or not it can change the meaning? If you get confused, then take that confusion to your next English lesson and have your teacher help you figure it out. Get comfortable. The ugly truth is that learning any language can be awkward, uncomfortable, and very challenging. However, success is on the other side of your comfort zone. If you feel comfortable, well, then you're not pushing yourself. One thing you need to understand that from the beginning, the process is going to be frustrating. No sooner will you have learned a grammar rule only to break it. It's the reality of learning a language. Try not to let it worry you too much. You will make mistakes and you will learn. And eventually, you will feel comfortable and confident. Record yourself. Speaking happens so quickly that you won't remember what you said or how you've said it. This is why it's best to record yourself, listen to yourself, and correct yourself afterwards. Write all of these corrections down and make sure you refer to them again and again. It can be difficult to speak English fluent in daily life. Life happens, and it can be difficult to schedule lessons every day or every week. That's why our English course, English Every Day, has been designed with the everyday English learner in mind. You can join live lessons throughout the day. The classes run with or without you, so you can hop into a lesson when you have some free time, and you also get the chance to ask those pressing English questions. English Every Day is a platform that will get you speaking English fluently every day. Thank you for joining me today. If you want to learn more, go to our website at chrisamericas.com. And of course, I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.